So even before the coronavirus, obviously we lived in a time of a lot of disagreement, a lot of partisanship, people feeling like their views are just so right, and that the other side's views, obviously, typically this is liberal versus conservative, right? That the other side has it just so wrong, and that the stake of the country is at risk. Is kind of the way you often hear it spoke about. And nowhere is this more prevalent than on social media, as a lot of bad things are. Particularly now with the coronavirus and how it's become politicized, you're seeing this even more, right? Because there's just so many aspects to it. There's the life and death nature of it. There's the potential, geopolitical piece of it. Did it come from China, and how should we handle that? There's the economy and how that's being impacted. There's the stimulus packages and the trillions of dollars being spent. It's bringing up lots of topics, which is ripe for people who feel like, hey, I get it. I understand what needs to be done. The other side not only doesn't get it, they are intentionally trying to take advantage of a situation, or they're trying to manipulate people, or they have some malicious intent that's at play. And what I see often on social media, are people who sit on either side, and this cuts completely both ways, true of both sides. I see people who I know well, some of who are good-hearted, smart people who, by and large, on most other topics, seek, the best for people and want to see people do well and want to see things go well. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to this great divide, they act very differently. And what I'll often see in the rhetoric is something along the lines of, hey, other side, you need to see this, right? This person is trying to destroy the country, or this group of politicians is trying to pass this bill, and spend X amount of money, and they're going to destroy America, right? They're trying to ruin what America's about. Or we're going to make America great again because the other side is destroying it, or vice versa, right? It goes all different ways depending on what the topic is. And what always bothers me about that is we can and should debate politics, policies, beliefs, views. Nothing more important than debating those things, and disagreement is in many ways what it's all about, right? That's how you iterate. That's how you get to better places. What bothers me about it is the hypocrisy to some extent, but more so than the hypocrisy, I guess it's the ignorance and the unawareness of seeing what's really happening, right? You're making these statements that, hey, I need to make this post, or I need to make this proclamation, or I need to have this argument because I need to save America from the other side. And what I would say to that is, please, don't do America any favors, because that mindset, the mindset of the other side, and that those people don't get it and they're trying to destroy the country because they see it differently than I do, because they see a set of facts and a set of information, and their value system brings them to a different outcome or a different conclusion. The thought that makes them evil, and that makes them something that needs to be removed from the country, that mindset is what's going to destroy America. It's a much, much, much bigger threat than any policy or anything any politician ever says. When everyday Americans start believing that people that view things differently than you do, no matter how differently, that the answer to that problem is they need to be removed, right? They need to be stopped because they're going to destroy the country. Again, let me say it. You are the one that is going to destroy the country. This country is built on the idea that we have different views, that people have the right and the ability to view information and come up with their own conclusions. We can debate that. We can disagree. We should, because that's what allows us to test our thinking and challenge ourselves and say, oh, maybe I didn't see that perspective, or I didn't understand that part of it. I didn't realize you were looking at it through that lens, right? So we absolutely should disagree. You should feel free to do that on Facebook, in person, on the phone, whatever it is. Feel free to do that. But as soon as you take the mindset that you're doing some noble good for America because you're warning people of how the other side, because they see it differently, is going to ruin us, you will ruin us. So for everybody that's doing that, I beg of you, please stop doing America any favors if that's the way in which you think the favors need to be done. And just step back and understand that not everybody has the same value system. Not everybody views things the same way. And that's okay. And it's still okay to disagree. And it's still okay to voice that disagreement. But it doesn't have to go to a point in which you're the savior of America and they need to be stopped in order to protect us.